Good morning.
Good.
Friday morning.
Yes, if it's any other day, I'd be mad.
Boy, you ain't kidding.
Oh, me. We've got the farmer's market here in McKenzie, and also we've got Dave and Marnie. And Marnie looks over at me and she said, I know you years and years ago in the 70s, I guess it was, wasn't it, Marnie? No, 83, something like that. Was it
like early 90s.
Early 90s.
Early 90s? Marnie taught me the computer. Someplace I worked, and I said, I know nothing about a computer, and they said, we're going to bring somebody in here to train you. And she looked at me and she said, I trained you on the computer. So, Rick, she still needs to come back, right?
Right.
Okay, we're going to talk to them. And
I'll go through my little spiel with what I brought, but I want it to really be focused on them. And also, I have a huge shout out to these two folks. During when COVID hit strong, and everything was shut down, we still grew, but we had no market to sell at. And lots of farms struggled with that. I didn't know what I was going to do with my produce, so I started setting up at our gas station in Villanelle. And these two folks drove all the way out there and did a whole segment and a blog, basically a news thing, and video recording, and then also an article. And they helped our farm big time during COVID, so I'm forever indebted to you guys. They've been big supporters.
was that last year?
Yes.
Last year? Okay.
I've known them throughout the years, and they've been real big supporters to our farms and just the local, everything local. So
They're my neighbors, and I just found that out.
yeah, there you go.
Right down the road. In fact, I've always said, I wonder who lives back there. I've always wanted to know who those people were. So I met them, and little did I know it's a small world that's who.
That's right.
And right down the street from there is where I worked.
Yeah, it is.
In a house down the street from there. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah.
Okay.
And they are now growing and are going to be a vendor. They'll be there tomorrow. So I'm excited for what they're going to show. I'll run through what I have, and then we can get to them.
Mackenzie, I'm excited to know that somebody else knows what a Cushaw is besides me. Because I'll say my mom made Cushaw pie, and people look at me like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Here's a Cushaw.
Yeah, look
Right
at that.
There it is.
Isn't that beautiful?
And I told you it looks like a gourd. That's Cushaw. And let me show you what come out of that Cushaw. If Rick can, I don't know if Rick can shoot in on us or not because he's got the camera set up on them. I know Rick, though, he can. Marnie or Dave, tell me what this is.
It's a Cushaw pie and some Cushaw bread there. So there's chocolate and
Everything on this
cinnamon
plate's
one.
made with Cushaw.
Yeah,
Yes.
They have the consistency of a pumpkin.
right.
And probably the color of pumpkin because my mom made Cushaw pies.
A little pale and
Yeah.
Yeah.
little yellow.
And it was always good. And like I said, everybody thinks I'm a nut when I say that.
Yeah, no, it's a old world squash, the native.
Does it get larger than that? Is that the size it gets? Right?
That's pretty good size one,
It is,
isn't it?
ain't it?
And it can get a lot larger.
It'll
I
get
think.
bigger than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get up to 20 pounds, some of them.
Whoa.
Right.
Now, so you got a farm back where you live. I'm not going to say, you're going to farm.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, they have a farm, and they're growing okra and Cushaw.
You got tomatoes?
We've got
Just for us.
Yeah.
I didn't get enough.
They're just growing for them right now. Yeah. I'll run through mine, and then we can get on all of them so they can have. So we have tomatoes, as always. This is one of my favorite varieties. It is called a mushroom basket. It's an heirloom.
Mushroom basket.
It's ugly.
It's ugly or beautiful, yeah.
But
it
good
is
to
unique.
eat.
It's high acid, so alrighty, well, I'll move on to, this is so exciting.
Yeah. They're the Spirit Tree Farms .com. Oh, that's their website.
Which I love your guys' name. I just love it.
But
There's so much meaning behind your
Marnie's
farm.
written books.
Yes. She's a best-selling author.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, tell me about that.
Okay. Well, the one that I'm going to have mainly tomorrow at the farm is called An Uncertain Justice, and it's about my second great-grandfather was a deputy sheriff in Walker County, and he was gunned down by a couple moonshiners. And so this is the story of that.
And what was his name?
His name was Joe Morton.
Just after he took office, right?
No, he'd been in there for a little while.
Oh, had he?
I think,
Okay,
yeah.
I knew one guy got killed right after he took office in Walker County.
Yeah, this was 1922, something around in there.
A little bit before your time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I live in Walker County, but people tell, you hear those
Right.
stories.
And
Yeah.
what's the name of it?
An Uncertain Justice.
An Uncertain Justice.
Yeah.
It's actually the story of the last legal hanging in Georgia, which
Yeah.
took place down at the Walker County Courthouse in Lafayette.
Right.
So
Right.
that's the local connection. Kind
Yeah.
of.
The
Is
legal
that the
hanging.
only one? You
No,
bring some?
I have another one that is sort of like what if us off-gridders save the world?
Right,
It's kind
right.
of this.
It's a science
It's
fiction.
kind of a dystopian novel, futuristic
Yeah.
kind of thing.
I bet that's real interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and then I have Angel and the Enemy, which is about the Civil War, a little bit post-Civil War. So it's set in Chickamauga, and it's a fictional setting, but
It's
you know,
about the Civil War?
the Civil War is
Yeah.
accurate. in
What's the
it.
name of it? Angel and a...
Angel and the Enemy. It's kind of like it's a romance. The Southern girl falls in love with a Yankee soldier who comes to
Yeah.
raid
Yes.
their home. And then this is more about my business. I've been in business for 34 years or something now.
Trust your heart.
So this is-
Spirit-led business. That's
This
what
is
that
kind of
said?
how to. This is where the name of our firm kind of came from. Is kind of just following the spirit wherever it leads, and so this is how I've run my business over these years. Just kind of tapping into what God wants me to do with it. So that's I write Christian sort of bent novels.
Yeah.
So
So you
Well, tell
get
me
local
about-
history books and
Wow.
yeah.
Tell me about your farm. Tell me about... Because it's
I'm gonna let you.
It's
he's
on- is it
he's
on the creek?
hard worker.
It's
Is it on the creek?
Absolutely.
I thought
If
so.
you look at the Chickamauga battlefield, down in the southeast corner, there's like a shark fin that comes right out, and we're on that. And basically, our neighbors do they do corn farms and for feed and stuff like that. But this year we kind of looked at it and said, we want to start. She inspired us, really.
Oh, really?
And we want to start growing some of our own stuff. So we're throwing out all sorts of seeds and things and trying to figure out, okay, what grows here. And I was getting ready to leave on a trip to visit my folks up north, and I'd been soaking some of these seeds, and I just kind of threw them out in the field, literally in a hill like you do with squash, and they just exploded.
the Cushaw.
Yes.
Cushaw did,
So
yeah.
and we'd had some before. Her dad grew up on Mowbray Mountain up in Saudi Daisy area, and he'd had some ever since. Since you were little, huh?
Yeah, he snagged us to grow these, so we've gotten
Well,
but
is it
down
the
the
farmer's
field.
market?
That's what we're bringing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, they probably got a truckload of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
People need to be educated about them
Oh, yeah,
because they
right.
see them and they say, them are gourds. You can't eat gourds.
Right, right.
That's what they think
Same
they
thing
are.
with pumpkins. Oh, pumpkins you just, decorate. That's
Right.
not the case. With these seeds are very valuable. So please don't throw out the seeds.
Oh, yeah.
Either save them to keep this going. I mean, it's going to be it's
Yeah.
going to go extinct
I
eventually.
think because people misunderstand about them.
Correct. And roasting the seeds. You can also roast the seeds like you would pumpkin.
You
Cast
also
irons.
grind them up
Yeah.
into flour.
Exactly.
This is actually one of the oldest Native American foods. There were somewhere between 3,000 and 7,000 BC.
Wow.
They started growing these down in Central America and South Mexico. The native tribes brought them north because they'll store we had some last year that we picked in September, and they stored until March.
Wow.
Right.
And still using them, and they're really drought tolerant. They're heat resistant, obviously living here, and so it's kind of cool. The Hopi Indians farm them out in Arizona in the desert, and so it's really one of the staple foods of the ancient American cultures.
Yeah, it was a staple food.
Yeah, how do you,
Go ahead.
how do you get to this point here?
That's her expertise.
Well, you got to have the oven first.
Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he wants to know how you make the pie.
How do you make the pie? Well, the pie, I either cut them in half, like, and turn them upside down and roast them in the oven, and then you can just peel this off pretty easy if you do that. Or sometimes I'll stick them in my Instant Pot. That's what I did with this. I just cut it in a couple slabs, threw it in there for 10 minutes, and let them cook. So you cook that up kind of like you do a pumpkin.
Okay.
Same thing. Puree it, put all your spices and your eggs and stuff in there, and bake it like a pumpkin pie. The bread, you don't cook it. You just grate it like you do zucchini, if you've
That's
ever
what
made
this
zucchini
is.
bread.
Yeah.
So I adapted my Granny White's zucchini bread recipe, but then we've tried to not do
That bread's good.
a lot of sugar, so there's no processed sugar in the bread. It's all made with like dates
It's all
and
natural.
molasses and
Are these two
honey.
different kinds of breads we got?
Yes,
Yeah, one is
this one is actually a chocolate.
Yeah, there is a
I know that
little
you don't have
processed
chocolate.
sugar in that because I put dark chocolate
That's
chips in
chocolate
that
right there.
one.
Ooh,
So
You got to,
it's got the chips, but that's
Oh my gosh, this pie.
here, you can have it.
So what she's saying is this
Go
shelf
ahead.
life is a long time, and that's why it was so popular with the Native Americans. So instead of pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving, get this, and it could be a real traditional treat. What the
Yeah.
Native Americans, made and
That's
everything.
why we need to get you a show where people know what to do with it.
Right,
when they
right,
buy it. See, that's
right.
what I'm saying. I didn't even know it
I'm going to have
existed.
recipes tomorrow
There-
for
oh,
the
yeah.
pie
Right.
and the bread. And
First of all, how do you spell it?
Cushaw.
Well, when we went to the Amish farm, or Mennonites, up in Delano, I don't know which way you say it, they had some of those, and they call them Crenshaw. And I looked over, I think it was Frankie that's with me, and I said, that's Cushaw, that's not Crenshaw. So
I think
they may have it, they could be, is there a Crenshaw?
I will look into it.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. Or it could be
Heard
the
of it.
telephone game, Telephone game that always happens.
That's right.
The really interesting fact about this is why the natives, this was their favorite squash because of the shelf life and the resistance to vine borers. Vine borers do not attack. This is the only squash plant that vine borers do not attack.
Which is why we like it, because no maintenance.
Right.
You don't
No
have to go
bugs.
switch
Right.
the
No
bugs.
bugs.
That's right.
Right. And so that's why we have such a short window of growing yellow squash and zucchini. Folks are like, where's the yellow squash and zucchini? Well, the vine borers come in and lay their eggs inside the vine, and therefore it kills the life of the plant because it kills the roots and everything whenever these eggs hatch out of the vine. And so that's why you have such a short season on summer squash. But this does not happen, and it's amazing why it doesn't attack these vines when it's all in the same family.
Yeah.
It's also got tons of vitamins, lots of C, A, B,
Yeah.
Wow.
calcium,
Iron.
phosphorus,
Yeah.
potassium. So that's the way they could have vitamin C through the winter is by storing these and then.
Do you have to cook it?
I have tried eating it raw. It's kind of like raw zucchini.
You know,
Eh.
you know something you could do with that is make butternut squash soup.
Right.
Yeah,
Soup would be
I have
excellent.
made soup.
Oh, what do you call it? Is that right?
Yeah.
Butternut squash.
You
Yeah.
cut
Soup.
these in half, hollow them out, bake them, put stuff in while you're baking it. That's
Add
awesome.
a little
Oh, really?
And then you
half
just
and
scoop it
half
out.
or
with
heavy
it.
You know,
whipping
Panera
cream.
sells that acorn squash soup's what they call theirs, I think. Of-
Yeah, you can do acorn, butternut, Cushaw,
Yeah.
pumpkin.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
all
then you
different
just scoop
kinds.
it out with some bread. And
Yeah,
I am
stuff.
so glad that you brought that and somebody don't think I'm nuts. because I can't-
Yeah, no, that's
so
exciting.
you tried some of that pie. Is that as good as your
yeah,
mama's?
delicious in it.
I mean,
I'll
it
eat that
is.
after I eat my breakfast. I can't eat nothing sweet till after I eat my breakfast.
Got it.
But
It
I will. I
is.
took a
This will definitely be what we're doing for Thanksgiving.
Really?
I mean, it is. It is really light and fluffy, Isn't that good?
It is good.
Yeah,
Actually, I think it's better than pumpkin.
I
so
agree.
too. I like
I
it
think
too.
it's better than pumpkin
Yeah.
because it's got a different consistency.
I agree. It's
to it.
not so heavy like pumpkin is.
Right.
It's very like a.
Souffle almost.
There you go. That's the word.
It might
Yeah.
not be sweet potato, but it'd be pumpkin.
Right.
Well, and they actually called this up in Appalachia, up in the mountains, they call it Tennessee sweet potato.
Oh, okay, yeah, because it is.
So if you ever hear of Tennessee sweet potato
So,
pie, that's what
if
that
you
is.
wanted to buy one of those at the farmer's market tomorrow, how long would it keep before you got ready to cut it up and cook it?
Well, let's see, 4 months.
I mean, 4 months or longer.
Or
It's
longer.
it's a winter squash. So like my spaghetti squash, it acts kind of like that. It lasts for many. It's a long shelf life.
So
it's
I
meant to
could
last
use
through
it for
winter.
Thanksgiving.
Yes, absolutely.
Christmas. Yeah.
Tell them about the curing thing that you were.
Yeah, these actually, when you cut it and you can see the end right here, this is actually still growing,
Oh, wow.
even after it's picked. And so you put it out. You can put it out like on your front porch where it's about 80% humidity, about 80, 85 degrees, and you do that for a few weeks, and that's called curing it. And then when you do that, then you bring it into a cooler place, maybe like your pantry or if you have a root cellar or something like that, you could put it in there, and that's where it's going to last for, until February, March or longer.
My dad used to do that, and I thought, what you gonna do with that? You gonna just leave that laying there? So,
Right.
yeah, he grew them down the road from you. He
Okay.
had a garden out there, and he grew those. And
Isn't
I
that
always
great?
thought it's gourds, until
Yeah.
I learned later about them. But
And if you want to save the seeds, which I highly recommend, put it in a bowl of water, all the seeds, so you can get all the, like pumpkin
Good,
seeds,
yeah.
all the mush off, kind of,
they got
just,
stringies on them.
right, kind of just massage the seeds, and it will, all the stringy stuff will float up above the seeds, and you just can take it, so then you have clean seeds.
Dry them really well before you
Right.
store them.
Right, for
Yep.
sure.
Okay, we want to thank you all for coming by and educating us this morning and showing us all these beautiful things and bringing us something good to eat.
Yes.
And you can do some of the same tomorrow from 8 o'clock in the morning to till noon tomorrow. On Wednesday, you can go from 2 to 5.
2 to 5, yes.
And enjoy conversations, meet lots of people, and find you some fresh food. And tell them about the SNAP things.
The SNAP thing, we double your SNAP EBT. We also do it for Tennessee. So if you have food stamps in Tennessee, you can bring it and we will match it as well. You can do up to $50 a market. We give you $100 worth of shopping of anything edible. Great program. And then also remember tomorrow's the school drive. So if you have any school supplies laying around, it'd be great if you could bring that out too. So we're giving some to a foster care home here in Walker County, and
That'd be
then
great.
also we have lots of teachers who know of students, families in need.
I'm glad to meet Marnie and Dave
Yes.
because
Yeah.
I've always wondered who lives where they live, and now I know, and it's a long drive down through there, and if it's not raining, I'd like to come down there, but when the creek gets up, they have to get a boat to get
We
out
have
of
a
their house.
moat.
We have a
We
moat.
have a
We're
moat.
protected then. We have a moat. It's our little castle, and we kayak out.
They really do, and they have to park the cars in the driveway if it floods. And you've had a lot of that this year, and you had a lot of it last year, didn't
Yep.
you?
Yep.
And then they have a sign at the end of the driveway, and my friend said that means that they own part of the UTC the sports thing.
Chattanooga
That's not true, is it? What is it?
Yes, I'm the Chattanooga Football Club, CFC, which
Yeah.
is the local soccer team.
Soccer team,
I'm an owner. We're an owner.
Oh, really?
We own one share.
Oh,
They
okay.
sell off shares.
Oh, that's the one in Chattanooga, not the one in East Reed.
Chattanooga.
Right,
Okay.
the one in Chattanooga.
Yeah.
And I have to give a shout out to my Green Bay Packers. I'm also a Green Bay Packers owner. I own one share. So you've had breakfast with an NFL owner this
Yeah.
morning.
Can I come and visit you one day? Can I come and visit you? I'd love to.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna get you to write your
We
phone
just
number down.
re-gravelled our road so you can get up.
You can
there
actually
without
drive
killing
up there
your car.
without walking or
I'll have to buy me some gas. It's a long way back there. See,
They take up a lot of
Blue
real
Hubbard.
estate.
Yeah, they
Oh, they
do.
do?
They do.
These do, yeah.
They sprawl.
That's why we like
15
them, because
feet or
there's no
so?
weeds.
They get rid of the weeds.
Right.
That's why, yeah.
So is that the only thing y'all be at the market with that?
The books
books and the Cushaw.
and just honesty in marketing. We will not have the pie. We will have recipes for it.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
I'm
we
bringing
will
some
have
bread
some
samples.
samples of bread. But
Yeah.
you got to make your own pie.
Oh, and I will. I don't make pies very well. I'll have my husband bake because he's the baker. So
Yeah.
I'll
is your
just-
husband doing okay?
he's doing
He
good.
cut his hand.
Yeah, he
they
cut his
came
hand.
They came and visited me at Tootie's on Saturday.
Yes,
and we
I'm
had a lot
so
of
glad I
fun.
finally got in there. Yes, I got some beautiful antique mason jars in
Oh, really?
in a little shelf thing that said seeds and so
Where at your place?
At
yes.
Tootie's.
Really? I didn't know you had that.
Oh yeah, there ain't nothing we don't have.
Yeah, I'm telling you. And she has lots of beautiful baskets too. I love baskets. I collect baskets. So yeah, it was a lot of
Wow.
fun.
You have to come and see me again. I'll let you have some of them.
Yeah.
So where's
Yeah.
this? Give yourself.
Tootie's Treasures is located. You know where Park Place Restaurant is? Yeah. Okay, that big historic building across the street.
Right.
It's Tootie's. It's got a big
Oh, the
flamingo
pink
out
flamingo
front.
I was talking
Yeah,
about.
that's
right,
Tootie's. Yeah.
It's got a flamingo out front.
We have a beach on the West Chickamauga Creek, and I said to Marnie, we need to get that pink flamingo, put it out there,
Right,
and
right.
just hang out with an umbrella. And
Some cheap-
Not for sale.
But it's a great building. I love just going in the building and just looking at all the architecture. I mean, it's amazing.
It is amazing, and I pride myself with Tootie's. Tootie's is a absolutely asset and a jewel of Fort Oglethorpe.
Right.
And there's people comes in there all the time that live in Fort Oglethorpe in the area, and they say, we've never been in here before. We don't know what this is. Some people think it's a children's shop. We don't know how we can create the image. We changed the sign 2 or 3 different times
Right.
to be that.
Yeah.
But anyway, it is. You need to come in there and see. It's 3 floors in there.
Yeah.
That was built in 1904 for $10,000. It used to be for the troops to dance, and a basketball court, and downstairs was a shooting gallery and a bowling alley.
Wow.
And we have some video, and we never have showed it, of the wax that were here
Yeah.
bowling down there. You know, remember, I sent them to
Oh,
Rick,
that's
and we never
great.
have showed them. We're going to show them
That's
one
great.
day.
Also, it's National Farmers Week, so I want to do a big shout out to all of our American farmers and
We've been talking
small
about that.
family farms. It's a really important week, to celebrate your farmers. So you could come down tomorrow from 8 to noon.
Right, good enough.
Yeah.
It's also root beer float day today.
Oh,
Oh, well.
it's also big shopping day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Highway 27.
There's lots of yard sales set up
Right.
down through there, and I think the girls at Tootie's are going to set up today and tomorrow in the yard.
Right, yeah. And the farmer's market is right along 27, so you'll see the
Yeah.
farmer's market sign. And also, if you want us to hold your stuff and you guys go out shop, you guys can come pick it up at noon, too. If you don't want to keep it in your
Yeah.
car.
Okay. All right. Thanks for coming. And we're going to take a break and get them out of here. We're going to talk to Melanie Day from Chickamauga School System and find out what's going on in Chickamauga schools. And they start, I guess, next week. Okay? Let's go. We're out of here.